Welcome back everybody, Chris Briggs here, and today we have a new build. But first, last week we built the Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport Technic set. This is one of the newer Bugatti sets, and honestly, it's a very good set. I definitely recommend it if you don't have it in your collection. Pretty pleasant build the whole way, had some cool features with it, and honestly the orange and black really pop, looks good. Best part about it, the little pegs that hold the wheels on are flush with the wheel, so no more of that ugly sticking out crap that you see with some of the earlier Technic sets. Or its cousin, the Bugatti Bolide set, that has those pegs sticking out like 1/4 of an inch past the wheel, and it just looks awful. This one looks great, has great coverage for the panels, not many gaps, but if you want to see the build, full review, all that stuff, check out the link in the comments below, or description, I should say. I always post last week's video in the description in case you want to catch up to see what I'm blabbing on about at the beginning. So last week, I gave you the hint that Red Bull gives you wings. And of course, there's only 2 ways you could really go about that, especially with sets that are available. So let's bring it out. We have the Formula One Speed Champions Red Bull car. Now, I'm sure half of you just unsubbed or turned it off or thought this was clickbait because you were hoping that this was the $200+ massive Formula One set. Now, the reason it's not is not because I don't like Formula One. I actually enjoy it. When it's on TV, I'll watch it. I watch Le Mans, I watch NASCAR. I love racing in general, to be honest with you. Even drag cars. I used to watch that back in the day. But for the price point of that set, there's so many other sets I would rather get. And that's really what has held me back on the larger versions of these sets. And honestly, there's some other block brands that make it for, I believe, a cheaper price, but similar functionality. So I'd probably try those first over Lego just because of the price point. Now, that's not to say that the big Mac Daddy versions of this, I think it's the Red Bull, Ferrari, and McLaren. I'm trying to remember the 3 biggies. I'm sure they're awesome. I'm sure they look awesome. I'm sure they're great builds. I just haven't been able to convince myself that I'm going to spend that kind of dime for that. But who knows? Maybe in the future that'll become a reality, or maybe I'll get it as a gift, and that's even better because then I can really experience it without having to kind of put my eggs in a basket type of deal. But this is what we have today. So 251 pieces, which means that this will be probably pretty quick building wise. Now, as you can imagine with any kind of race car build, this is going to have an ungodly amount of stickers that are going to be hopefully straight and not slanted, so you have to look at it the rest of your life. So I'm not looking forward to the sticker situation. And when you look on the back, you can even see all the stickers that you're going to have to put on, and it doesn't give you a happy feeling inside. But it looks like it could be a cool car. And honestly, when we're done building with this, I have an old school Mercedes Formula One car from back in the day, Speed Champion, and we'll kind of compare the two, how much better these look, the details, kind of real quick. We won't drag on the video, I promise. I know I drag this on enough as it is. So, let's open up this box and see what we got. All right. Diving in to the Red Bull Formula One Speed Champions. I'm watching too much Doug DeMuro with that entry. I can't help but you channel it when you're like, all right, let's get into this. Yeah, if you haven't seen his channel, he does a lot of great reviews of cars. I subbed, and he does some amazing vehicles. And if you're a car guy, I recommend it. Check it out. But in this bag, even with 251 pieces, you have 6 bags in this set, which is unusual. Usually it's always 5 with the Speed Champions, but there are 6. The book, kind of what you kind of expect, 104 pages of build, 103 steps, so nothing too crazy. With the amount of pieces, I'm surprised it isn't sub 100, but you know, I saw a couple in here and it's like 1 piece literally putting on, so you know, they gotta stretch it out some way, right? Sticker situation. Yeah, 31 stickers. Okay, move on. So I see they have the new bags, which I got to experience a little bit, the trial bite-sized bags with the Bugatti, where they had it in the clear plastic bags that I prefer, with little ones like this tucked in. And honestly, these paper bags, I really hate them, because either I'm doing something wrong, but they do not tear open easily for me. They kind of rip and shred, and then it looks like a grizzly bear attacked it. And then as I'm pouring out the pieces, I think everything's out. And when I go to crumble it, something is hard in there. And it turns out, oh, one of the pieces stick inside of it for some reason, even though I thought I opened it enough to pour it out. I almost had, every time I opened one of these, had a piece that got stuck in there. So if you're using these paper bags, just be aware, double check the bag, especially since they're not clear, so you can't see if anything's stuck in there. Just double check it. You know, like we always say, check the bag, check the box, check the floor. With these paper ones, definitely check the bag. Interesting choice of bags, by the way, in this one. Every other bag is a different size. So you go small, large, small, large, small, large. Don't know why. Maybe it's just the pieces. You know, obviously the pieces have to fit in the bag, so a small bag like this doesn't make sense. But coincidence that 1, 3, 5 are all this size, 2, 4, 6 are all this size. I don't know if somebody was really bored at Lego and decided to make a game out of it, but that's what you see in this set. But yeah, and this is your little starter piece for the cockpit of the Formula One car. And that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. Hopefully this will be about a 50-minute build, I'm gonna guess. We'll see how close I am. This time we'll try not to have the equipment failure that we had in the Bugatti situation at the end, and get you a accurate time this week. So, let's open bag 1 and let's build. Bags 1 and 2 are done. 14 minutes, 53 seconds. So this explains why there's small bag, big bag, small bag, big bag. Because it looks like you do 2 bags per section in a sense. One has the small pieces, one has the bigger. So really the next set of bags are going to be 3 and 4 for the next, time section, time lapse if you want to say. So what did bags 1 and 2 do? Well, kind of like any other speed champion, we started building the chassis out. We did apply 4 out of 31 stickers. You can see over here it says Red Bull and Honda. Red Bull colors, lots of black, so you can't really see all the details unless the light's shining off of it like that. But nothing too crazy. Generous amount of leftover small pieces, about 7 of them, so not too bad. Of course, we have Max, our F1 driver. I mean, really, what other name am I going to choose? I'm not up to date on the super new drivers, but Max is the one I came up with, so it works for him. He has his beautiful hair. He's going to have a good time. And of course, we have our Red Bull helmet, which actually has a nice shade of red, like through the lens. You can kind of see it right there. While this one does not flip up like traditional helmets in Lego, it's still pretty cool looking. It has the Red Bull logo on the front. We got a little aerodynamic spoiler coming off the back of it. It looks pretty cool. I may put it on him because this is a cool looking helmet, but we'll see. We'll see what Max feels like. But right now, he's waiting in the pits. He has his giant wrench to work on an incredibly complicated, over-engineered vehicle, which that wrench probably won't do a single thing for, but he is ready. He has his helmet for when it's time to race, and he's saying, let's get on to bags 3 and 4. Bags 3 and 4 are done. You're looking just under 23 minutes. And that's because you put on the majority of the stickers during this bag. So be prepared. This is not a fun bag. If you don't enjoy stickers, if you do enjoy stickers, this is sticker heaven for you. As you can see, lots of stickers. All this is sticker, all down here, up here, sides, even the inside here. I know I got this kind of far away, but you can see everywhere there's some kind of insignia, logo, word, with the exception of 2. Those are all stickers, and I did the best I could lining them up. What helped me was, usually I'm very much for put the sticker on the piece first because you have more flexibility with your fingers and everything. For this kind of thing, where you have a graphic that's traveling down the car, build the pieces out first, then apply your stickers, and then you could get a better kind of orientation of where you want to put them. Because it is multiple pieces, you're going to have gaps. It's going to be ugly. It's not going to be a smooth transition from piece to piece. So you kind of got to decide, where do you want your gaps closer? Where do you want them farther apart? It's up to you. I did all right. The last set I kind of messed up on, so I'm not happy with that. And I kind of put this guy on a little slanted, but we're going to have to live with that as well. But you definitely get your sticker practice in this one. Fortunately, the Red Bull logo guys here, their little mascots, those are printed on. Don't know why they couldn't print on more of this, but at least those are printed on. I'm happy to see that. I really thought those were going to be stickers as well, but they're not. So you do get 2 pieces of a brake. Bags 3 and 4, as you can see, we've got the rear spoiler. We built a lot of the rear part of the Formula 1 car. And we got some of like the cabin. We have the steering wheel. You can't really see, it's kind of buried right in there. And, you know, we got a lot of the back of the car done. So bags 5 and 6 are the last set we're gonna build. And that's gonna finish off everything. Front end, we still have plenty of front end stickers, probably about 10 still left. Front end, wheels, and then the car is done. So let's get on to bags 5 and 6. Bags 5 and 6 are done. You're looking at 10 minutes, 39 seconds. And 5 and 6, obviously, complete our build. We have our Red Bull Racing Formula 1 car. And honestly, this thing looks pretty good. It's a pretty good looking build. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. I like it better than I expected. I didn't really jump on all the Formula 1 releases when they came out, because I was like, yeah, I like Formula 1, but I kind of like, you know, the car, more full car type builds, or the Le Mans style car builds. I enjoy those. But Formula 1, I wasn't so sure, and I think that's probably because when I built like the Mercedes original one, it didn't like, wow, I can't wait to build more. I never got that out of it. It was like, okay, it's not bad, you know. Not as great as my other Speed Champion ones, but it's not bad. But this one, I'll say this changed my mind on it. This definitely is one that is not wanting to hold together. Like, this metal part here keeps shifting over for some reason. Of course, using those C-clamps, which I hated in the Dodge Challenger, that's what holds these on, so they're not exactly nice and tight and flush there. But we're not going to complain about that, because honestly, that isn't actually a problem with this. But this, getting back to what I was saying, this is definitely something that would make me consider buying the bigger set. You know, I really like how this looks, and I can only imagine how great it would be on a larger scale. So maybe that'll be something to come into the future. Fortunately, everything right here is printed on. thankfully, because these would have been miserable to put on. To have one up here and then the Red Bull on the side to have to do all that would have been a complete pain in the butt. Appreciate that they printed those on. But most everything else you see sticker-wise, that is all you, buddy. You have fun with that. This is sticker heaven for people who like stickers. We have 31 stickers, and you definitely got to plan out how you put all of them on, because they're all exposed, they're all in sight, and you're going to notice every single one that's put on crooked and wrong, because I can see it right now as I'm looking at this. Now, overall time, you're looking at 48 and a half minutes. So I was kind of right. I said under 50 minutes, and it was about under 50 minutes. And honestly, if you didn't have 31 stickers, you could probably get it closer to 40 minutes on this. Stickers take up a lot of time on this build just because there's so many of them, and you want to line them up the best you can at least. But overall, this is a good looking one, and there's a lot of people already out there that have built all the Formula One. They have all the sets, they have them hanging on their walls. But if you're on the fence like I kind of was with this, give it a try. See if you like it. I actually thought this was pretty good, and I would definitely recommend it. Overall, pieces-wise, you're looking at about 12 to 15 spare pieces. Now, they're all 1x1s. So if you're missing anything bigger than that, check the bag, check the box, check the floor, because it's not one of the leftover pieces for you, okay? It's somewhere else. And it's probably in one of those stupid paper bags that I can't stand. Every single one that I poured out before I started filming the actual build resulted in a piece stuck in it somewhere. It's like it's trying to make you angry and wonder where your missing piece is. I don't care for them. I don't like them. Bring back the probably non-biodegradable, non-recyclable plastic ones, okay? Because it just makes my life easier, and destroy the planet so I can have an easier time to build Legos. Okay. But that's my 2 cents on those paper ones. Moving into the future, I'm sure that's the way they're going, so we're going to have to deal with it for here on out when it comes to builds, with the exception of my backlog, which is a lot of fairly older sets last year, possibly older. So all my upcoming sets will have to deal with them at least. So with this is the new F1, we bring out the old Mercedes. Some of you may be familiar with this one. It looks like a baby compared to it. As you got them, I'll move out the cool helmet. You kind of got them side by side. Even from this side profile, which we'll get them up closer for you, it almost looks like, you know, when you see those really old school Lego sets, like the city ones, and the cars look so generic compared to what, you know, Speed Champions are, and even the new city cars, how much more detailed and smooth looking they are. I kind of see that with this. This looks like something that was pretty old, whereas this one, you got more of a flow and design. Now, the dark blue and black does make it hard to see the details, especially even in this lighting. It's hard to tell, but you can kind of see definitely a lot more detail going into this one. New parts developed and the technology of Lego. I mean, look at the, you know, independent suspension that they got going on here with these single pieces compared to this, which was just like a little insert, little spacer. That's it. And I know in Formula One cars from this generation to this generation, they always seem to change the style, everything. This probably has the DRS sitting on the back, but you can kind of get an idea just how much more detailed the modern ones are compared to the old ones. And honestly, the modern ones look so much better. They're also a little bit bigger, as you can see. Yeah, probably about an inch or so. Probably a little less, 3/4. And the helmets were also pretty normal. They did have the halo ring. I think that's what it's called still. It's been a while since I've heard it. And they got it on this one too. And actually, they both use the same mechanism for each one. They didn't change in all this time. I guess if it's not broken, you know, why fix it, right? But they use the same mechanic for the modern set as they do with the older set. The older set also has maybe 1/10 of the stickers that the new one has. But one other thing, this one's pretty well built. You know, I can move it around, fling it, drop it. I'm not going to do it with this one because just pulling this one out from my shelf, I broke the spoiler like 3 times before I started filming, and getting it back together was a complete pain in the butt. And even, you know, these little side skirts and aero bits, they just wanted to fall off because they're being held on by one piece. So definitely a lot sturdier of a build compared to the old ones. But overall, like I said, pretty good build. I definitely enjoyed this build, and I look forward to maybe building some more of them. I do have a couple of them planned out into the future, a couple months from now, for a specific purpose that you'll get to when it gets closer to that time. Oh, one more thing, just looking at it real quick. The tires. The tires have a lot more tread. They just look like the regular tires that you kind of see on like the Speed Champions and stuff, whereas these ones are literally like racing slicks. So with that kind of texture of a racing slick. Just kind of a quick thing I noticed as I'm staring at this and talking. But if you've kept with the video this far, or if you scrolled this far ahead just to see what I thought of this set, drop a like, drop a sub, throw a comment in there. You know, did you build this set? Have you built the really big one? Should I get the big one? Is it worth the time? What do you guys think of these Formula One sets, and how many of them do you have? I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We're so close to that 100 mark when it comes to subs. I cannot wait till we get to that point. And I got a little video planned for it. Nothing crazy, nothing super special, but something I would like to do when we hit that mark. And for next week, we do have a hint, but it's nothing I can show you or really tell you about. I know, what kind of hint is that? All I can tell you is that I will have a special guest next week that's going to help me with next week's build. Now, it is a Speed Champion set. I'll just tell you that now. It's a little bit of an older one, but he liked it. He wanted to jump on here because he knows that I build Lego sets for YouTube, and he wanted to be a part of it. I've known him probably for a couple years, but we'll introduce him next week, and it's going to be kind of a duo tag team build on this. So, I hope you guys had a great time. Hope you enjoyed the build. If you're on Instagram, right over here, go ahead, look me up, follow. I'll follow you back. I enjoy the community and some of the great builds I see out there. And like I said, if you haven't gotten to these Formula One builds, give them a try. They seem to work out pretty good. And that's all we got here. So you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next Friday.